make the bad man stop.
Oh, the bad man will never stop because I'm getting under people's skin. I love it. This is Tim. This is On Wilding Big Blue. This is bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. I want to talk about DJ Moore. It's not going to happen. I mean, you can rub the DJ Moore stone, hold it close, cuddle it, put it underneath your pillow, and it's still going to be there in the morning because he is not coming to the Giants. And I'm not saying that because of the fact that I'm saying this because of the fact that I want to talk about realistic opportunities for the Giants to go out and get a player. I think it's a waste of breath to speak about a player that is never going to be coming to the Giants because there is multitudes of reasons why this 24-year-old wide receiver who's topped 1,000 yards in each season since 2019, over 1,100 yards each season, is not coming to the Giants. And I see it all over social media, and it's killing me. I almost did a 2 for 2 Tuesday because of the fact that it is literally killing me. Everyone knows, and I've talked about this before, that I have friends that work around the Carolina organization. These are the same friends that told me 24 hours before it happened, you can go back and watch the video, that Matt Rule, who just got fired, was going to be the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, and he was not coming to the Giants. Told me a full 24 hours before it was even announced. So these same people I reached out to yesterday, and I said, hey, listen, November 1st deadline's coming around soon, come around that corner. Are you guys looking, and of course he's never going to tell me the full story because that would be stupid. But I said, rumors you guys are going to be trading, Brian Burns, DJ Moore, and Christian McCaffrey. And I laughed because he didn't even answer the question. He just laughed. He just laughed. And he goes, yeah, we hear that too. And then he just laughed again. And it was funny though, because we kind of had a conversation and he never said yes, he never said no, but he said, why would we dismantle the core of our team? Why? Now you have to, the Giants' biggest need right now, if they're going to continue winning, is going to have to be, they're going to need to open up the offense somewhat. Because you're going to get people putting 7-8 in the box, trying to stop Saquon. You are going to have people dare the Giants to throw. And I laugh because, we're never allowed to say anything about Daniel Jones because you know why.
It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
That's right. It'll be unfair to criticize Daniel Jones because he's above criticism. But they're not moving the ball down the field, the Giants. They're not. They're not moving it down with any fluidity. And if you get a good, strong team that's strong against the run and they stop Saquon, you're going to have to go to the pass. It's just plain and simple. So the logical explanation is, well, we got to find ourselves a wide receiver. I think we have wide receiver talent on the roster. I think Wan'Dale Robinson has talent if he can ever get on the field. I think Kadarius Toney, while he is not the most proficient of route runners, because we've talked about it a million times before, scouts that scouted him coming out of the draft said his route running ability is unique. And usually the word unique when is in reference to route running is not a good thing because he's not a very good route runner. He's not. So you would think logically you would want to go get a wide receiver. So everyone's passion, everyone's mindset for Giant fantasy land, welcome to Fantasy Island, would be DJ Moore. Now, the first thing that would preclude the Giants from going to get Moore. Yes, there's more than one. There's more than one thing. Carolina just extended him this year. 3 years, $61 million. Okay, right. And now he's under his current contract right now. But if you extend somebody this year for 3 years, $61 million, there is major cap ramifications, not only for the Giants, but for the Carolina Panthers. So for just a moment's sake, let's take a look at the cap ramifications for the Panthers. Right now, he is on his rookie deal, or I should say he's on his rookie. I believe it's his rookie contract, which is paying him $6 million, dead cap number of $6 million. But he's got a dead cap number of almost $40 million because of the contract, because he signed the contract extension this year. Now DJ does have a potential out after 2 years, but you're looking at 2023, 2024, a total cap hit of $35 million and then it drops down to $10 million in 2024. So though the Giants are taking on the contract, so the Giants, in reference to the cap, would be taking on the $25 million cap hit in 2023. We've talked about this before. The Giants have about $50 million right now in cap space. You slot out 10 immediately for your draft class. That's gone. And then you're stuck, you have about 40, and you have the Leonard Williams fiasco of a contract. But so they do not have the ability to absorb a $25 million cap hit. They don't. Now it becomes more manageable, of course, in 2024, which is only $20 million. But logistically, it's not possible for the Giants to move that deal for next year. There would have to be so much chicanery just to get under the cap. Now, the first thing people are going to say is, well, you get rid of Kenny G in 2023. Well, that's great. You get rid of Kenny G. That is a possibility, because in 2023 he has only $4.5 million guaranteed. There's a $21 million cap number. His pre-June 1st dead cap number, you're going to be looking at, you're going to be looking at anywhere. Now, see, here's the problem, because contractually it's going to expand over 2 years. If you do a post-June 1st cut with Kenny G, you're going to save $7 million, or you're going to have almost $8 million of dead cap space this year and 13 next year. That's if you do a post June 1st. If you do a pre-June 1st with Kenny G, you're going to have a $10 million, where's the cut? If you do a pre-June 1st, you're looking at a $14 million dead cap number this year and $6.5 million or $6.7 million next year in 2024. So yes, while that'll help absorb some of that money, you're also looking at a $14 million cap hit, dead cap number this year. If it's, like I said, pre, and if it's post, you're looking at 7.5 this year and 13.5 in 2024. Shane does not want to move his cap number. He's already said this. He already seems upset that he had to have a voidable year for Leonard Williams in 2024, that he's not going to be here and we are going to have to still pay him that salary. So right now, if you take a look at the cap space situation for 2023, you would think immediately you are not going to want to take your $50 million and then take $25 million of that plus your 10, so that's $35 million, and only have $15 million left in cap space. People are going to say, well, Tim, I'm also looking at the numbers from the dead cap numbers. So it's $61 million. Your numbers are wrong. No, my numbers are not wrong. There is one thing that we get consistently right on this channel, and people can hate me for it because I really don't care, is the cap. I have been off maybe 100,000 each way with my cap numbers the last 2 years because of the fact that I've said it before. Tim can do math. I own a calculator. And these websites don't take into consideration certain parameters of the cap and certain issues with the cap. There are spreadsheets that they basically just plug in. You got to go a little bit deeper. I am probably the only YouTuber in Giants land who has sat in on cap meetings. I am probably the only one that's done that. So there's a different, you can't just look at the cap from putting in a number from a contract. You have to look at a lot of the other aspects. You got to look over the rollover money. You got to look at the dead cap space money. You got to look at the money that's being shifted around. So you're not going to take $25 million of his contract plus your $10 million, 10.5, almost 11. It depends on where they finish. So you're going to take about $35 million dollars of your cap space. And even if you're telling me you have $60 million, which we don't, that only leaves you with $25 million. The anchor of the Leonard Williams contract, the anchor of the Adoree Jackson contract, the anchor of, in some ways, the Sterling Shepard contract, which we are going to get out of. But then the other thing you got to look at in reference to the cap is that $60 million that people are talking about, even though it's 50, there's only 39 players under contract. You need 53 to field a roster. So you're only going to have $25 million in cap space to field a team. And then you also have to look at potentially signing Saquon Barkley. This is why I tell people, and like I said, you can debate me all you want whether Daniel Jones is a game manager. You could debate me whether you want he's a franchise quarterback. He's not going to be back next year. If you look at the cap, there's no conducive way to bring him back with the cap we still have next year. There's no way, unless he takes an extremely team-friendly contract. You have to remember, we have the maturing contracts of both Andrew Thomas. We have the 5th-year option for a Sexy Dexy. You know, your contracts are getting more and more for the likes of Kadarius Toney because you'll be going into year 3. You have maturing contracts of your rookies, like Xavier McKinney, who doesn't have a big cap number, but he's going to be looking for a payday coming up soon. And that's what you have. That's what you have to look at as a team. But for the fact that he just signed a 3-year, $61 million contract, which included a $19 million signing bonus and $41.6 of guaranteed money, with an average salary of $20 million, DJ Moore, that is. The Panthers aren't going to take a $41 million cap hit trading him after. Because the reason why they'll take the $41 million cap hit this year, if they get rid of him, is because of the fact that he just signed the contract this year. This isn't Madden. That money will be on the books for them this year because it's guaranteed. It then rolls out over the next couple years after this, because what they do is what they don't want teams to do is just sign these guys to big, huge contracts and then move them. They have to have some penalty for teams that do that. So that's I mean, right off the bat, contractually, you look at that, you're like, well, it's not going to happen. Second of all, why are you going to trade a 25-year-old linchpin who has been productive for you to move him to another team for a 2nd-round draft choice? It doesn't make sense. You still need talent. The biggest issue that they have over with the Panthers is the quarterback situation. If you're going to move anyone, it makes more sense to move Christian McCaffrey. That makes more sense. It does make sense to move Brian Burns, but like I said, my friend told me it ain't happening. It's not happening. You have a core unit, and he's only 25 years old, DJ Morris. You're not going to move on for him just because of the fact that you're not winning right now. It's your quarterback that is the situation, that is the issue right now. Baker Mayfield, who, like I said, I thought Baker Mayfield was going to excel in Carolina because I thought he was that type of quarterback. Evidently, he's not. I was wrong about that. I don't think Sam Darnold's the guy either, but Sam Darnold at least played well enough when they had him and McCaffrey in the backfield. But it doesn't, if you're a Giants fan and you want to make sense of maybe going out and getting a wide receiver, and if you want to go out and get a wide receiver and you want to get him from the Panthers, you may want to take a look at someone like Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson's going to be 30. He's got an out in 2023. Yeah, he's got the $20 million cap dead hit number this year, but he's only got a $9 million dead cap number, of course, that the Panthers released him, but he's got a $21 million cap hit in 2023. The problem with that contract also is his contract was restructured so they could sign DJ Moore. So he's got a $5 million restructure bonus. So like I said, you can then actually extend, if you brought him over from the Giants, you could actually then extend him, Robbie Anderson, and you could move out some of that money and you can move around some of that guaranteed money. Someone like Robbie Anderson makes more sense, even though he's going to be on the wrong side of 30 in 2024, but he'll be an unrestricted free agent. And if you move some of the money into, like I said, you could do something similar like you did with Leonard Williams. You could take some of the, you can move around some of the guaranteed money and move out some of the bonus money. It makes more sense. Everyone wants to have that pie in the sky. It's free agent signing, that pie in the sky, trade. But I just find the fact that you should at least have it make sense. you should at least take a look at the full parameters. And like I said, him signing a 3-year, $61 million extension this year automatically pretty much precludes him from getting traded. If the Panthers would like to, it's the same thing we did with Odell and how we wrecked the cap with Odell. We gave Odell that big contract and then traded him, and we wrecked the cap doing it. It's a cautionary tale. And I think it's a cautionary tale that other teams need to learn, or probably have learned from, that the Giants have done, and the Giants have done a couple times in the last 15 years. Signing these big name contracts and then dumping them at the point where it hurts, and where it hurts the team and where it hurts the organization. The Giants' best hope is finding someone on a lower end deal, a 1-year deal, or finding someone who's this is their last year, last year of the contract. That makes more sense. I just love it though, because people are like, well, we're gonna get DJ Moore. Did anyone ask the Panthers if they were moving DJ Moore? Because the Panthers had a theory, had a thought process. They did, because Rule was in the hot seat since training camp. Since the end of last year, he's been on the hot seat. So they had an idea that maybe Rule might not be around this year, sometime fully through either this year or into 2023. They must have had a feeling about it. So they probably went into signing that contract, giving that contract with that in mind, because they need to have, like the Giants need to have building blocks. Like the Giants have Andrew Thomas, Kayvon Thibodeau, Evan Neal, Dexter Lawrence. They have Graham Gano. They have a core unit of building blocks that they are going to use to help push this team for the next 5 to 8 years. And the Carolina Panthers are doing the exact, I left out Xavier McKinney. There's a lot of players I left out. But that's what we need to look at. And this is why a lot of times I just ask people, especially if you're posting stuff on social media, and I understand it's always about the clicks, the likes, the bleeps, and the boops. I get that. I really do. I'm probably the only one that doesn't care about that. I always joke. I used to joke and tell people all the time. I said I only started posting stuff on like YouTube and Twitter because this was someone else's idea to make this channel, and that person quit after doing one episode, and we never even aired the episode. But I already did all the legwork, so I just thought, hey, let's just throw it up there and see what happens. But it's one of those things that when I went into doing this with the thought process of I want to give the most accurate, realistic information that I can, not just about the Giants, not just about the NFL, but things like the salary cap, things like contracts, because I do have it's older experience now because it's been a long, long time, but I have experience in some of these things. And maybe that's why my cap numbers are always off. Or if they're off, they're only off by 100,000, either way. I complained about the salary cap for how long last year about this year and how it was going to, and I believe I mentioned all the time, it was going to be a difficult situation this year and potentially parts of 2023. And that, and I loved it when Shane took the job and the first thing he said was, the salary cap is going to be challenging, because it is. And it's still going to be challenging in 2023 because decisions need to be made. Contracts need to be reworked, but they have to have it done in a way that is not going to hurt the team over the next couple of years. And like I said, yes, you could pretend there's not 60 million, but you could tell me, all the websites say 60 million. It's not 60 million. It's like 52 point something million. I forgot my exact numbers, but you could say that all the time. But remember this, 10.5 to 11 goes right to rookie contracts. You still have to re-sign Saquon, because you have to re-sign. If Saquon keeps doing this and he runs for 2,000 yards, you got to re-sign Saquon. But at that point in time, you've already given yourself less than $20 million in total salary cap with 39 total contracts, and you can't give 25 million of that to one player at a wide receiver when you are still trying to work out what you're going to do with Kenny G, and we've already gone over the Kenny G numbers. I think that's, I think that is the best way to end this video. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk entertainment. And as always, if you could if you subscribe, if you can ring that belly thing in the news, that'd be awesome.